against a Lucas, you're going to get shredded down.
He's going to run you down. I think even OP has came up with solutions. The last two picks clearly to answer what Falcons want to bring. Even mid-side. That's the first blood on the Prince.
First blood, Team Falcons. I guess this is what I was saying earlier. My idea of Falcons trying to bring the fight to ONIC Philippines is you got to play with fire. You got to try to outmuscle your opponents. And sometimes just getting picks like this, these cheesy ones, even though I said maybe you can't really cheese ONIC Philippines because they should know what you're doing, I think they're doing a pretty good job. But also, lack of respect from Prince there early on. Just going up against Kalea Loyi.
Yeah, I thought maybe Ogwen cheesed it by taking the title strike, but didn't do that.
No, King Kong down level 4 already. Wants to go in, perhaps Sacred Beast form. Going to be ready here as he gets the full rage on him. Ogwen gets out, just a successful invade. And I guess one thing we can talk about here is Fredrin being pretty bad at clearing the jungle.
Yeah, compared to the Lucas. And that hasn't even taken into consideration that when these team fights break out, you've got so many AoEs to deal with.
They're really good at fighting though. Appraiser's Wrath not landing. Good flicker out from Brusco. But just like that. Oh, in the bottom lane, Kelra doing a good job. Ogwen taking real low. Kelra holding this wave now, just freezing it up against this Wang Wang.
Doesn't feel good for Ogwen. I thought he would recall, but he didn't. Topside, they want to invade King Kong once more. But this time, Kirk able to protect his jungler. King Kong finally gets a safer clear. It's going to be down to 50% health as Kautidi starts to turtle.
That's the advantage of the Fredrin. If you don't do too well when it comes to clearing, holding out neutral objectives is great. Kirk walking up already. Flapteezy going to join in the fray as well. As Ogwen goes over the lockdown, and that's the Appraiser's Wrath. Big bong on the Kirk. King Kong still on it. Good shove from Brusco.
Yeah, Brusco is going to keep them all away and allow ONIC PH at least to get the turtle for themselves. They had to trade two people for it though. Kirk and Brusco both going down. Falcons willingly taking that trade.
So is that worth it? I think it's worth it for Falcons. 3-0! Yin Yang reaction from Few. Super Prince low. Ogwen needs one more shot. Needs to peel for Few as King Kong dives in.
And King Kong wants to look for the kill, but Few will get the shield in the end. Falcons once more with the punish mid-side.
Woo. Action all across the board, but the Falcons have been the ones flying high in the sky as ONIC Philippines are trapped, grounded.
This is going to open up the jungle for Falcons once more, which goes back to the point you said, right? Fredrin might not be fastest in the clear, but in this scenario, Kautidi feels incredibly comfortable with Ogwen controlling bushes, which is Kalea's strong suit, and Super Friends not being able to get out of the mid lane. Falcons also makes life for Super Marco so much easier bot side.
1,500 gold now, and this is also the hero that, got King Kong a lot of criticism. When he went for the Lucas pick in MPL Philippines, that was the pick that ended up with them losing. It's not the natural King Kong super fast clear, super fast rotations on the map. He's much more one-dimensional, right? You go for neutral objectives, you get it, you win, you snowball, you win. But if you don't, Lucas no good.
Yeah, it's like, I want something like a Suyo Joy, right? I get to fight at level 3-4. A Hayabusa works as well, but if it's a Suyo or Hanzo, even Hanzo to King Kong, he did mention it's a very weird hero to play, right? You don't really get to go fast like the Suyo. Doesn't play into what the King Kong DNA.
You just gotta go in. That's what you do on the Hanzo, right? And I think that's pretty similar again for the Lucas. You just gotta go in, and then you rely on your team to follow up. You're not really a hero that can make a lot of outplays. It's kind of like an alpha? It's an alpha.
It's an alpha with a bit more crowd control, but the conditions are the same. You need to have War X stacks, you need to be constantly fighting.
And the collab skin coming. He's a main character, y'all. Kaltizi on the turtle. Brusco holding it out as well. Ogwen walking up, getting the passive Tsunami Slam, locking him down as well, but he gets the implosion! And the flicker in the back! Crossbow tagged out for Super Marco. Brusco taken down! Turtle also out as Brusco won't be able to survive. Kaltizi was the one to win out that retry battle, and now they continue the chase on Prince.
So at the end of the day, it's the Roamer for a mid laner. Team Falcons still walk away with a bit of a plus just because they got the objective, but that's the caveat that we are going to experience more and more as the game progresses. ONIC PH, they have big wombo combos. You let Brusco get an implosion off, you let King Kong hit the backline, and suddenly this whole Falcon Deathball comp falls apart. You want to stick together, but you don't want to be vacuumed in by a big Brusco Tigreal ult.
And now it's an even bigger problem for ONIC Philippines. That implosion looked so good. We completely forgot Mr. Marco, man, was inspiring on that crossbow attack, right? He was dealing so much damage. And Kyle, this is the thing about the Fredrin. If you're able to match up against your opponent, if you're not too far behind, retry battles will always go your way. You have a big, stab before you go for the retry. And for the longest time, that's been how, junglers just win out retries, steal objectives.
Even for OP, another challenge they might face is who is going to eat the crossbow Tang. There's only two people who wants to do that, or it has no choice but to do it, Kirk and Brusco. But Brusco is going to be busy trying to get a combo off. Kirk, he has to somehow disrupt Falcons. So whoever Marco catches, if it's not the front line, they are all going to get shredded.
Taking a look at it again. Now backing up Kelra in the bottom lane, Brusco will be able to get him some space. The fact that Super Marco is a level ahead of a Granger, Kelra, not any Granger, and is steadily, that's a pretty good lead to have on the 1-1. Corrosion side already on the way to the DHS, a turret down below. Man, so much tempo for the Falcons.
And Kautiti solved the resistance problem for at least the next 5 minutes, right? Dreadnought armor into a Garden helmet. Good luck trying to take him down with Kelra and King Kong in the near future. They're not going to have enough damage for now. Super Friends on their Valentina isn't exactly the most bursty mage either.
Turtle. This time Turtle number 3, final Turtle of the game. That's a diversion into the back. Brusco will be the one sent to take it. Super Marco in the bush. Brusco, he can go for a big implosion. But Super Marco has a free Purify. Kaltizi walks out. Flaptizi to be zoned away, but he's able to get away. Ogwen, Tsunami Slam over to King Kong, locking him down. Implosion into the back. Cancel out instantly as Kaltizi now walks in forward. Yeah, reaction from View. The front to back is beautiful for Team Falcons.
That implosion needs to catch Few somehow, because if Few is in the fight, then ONIC PH gets the taste of their own medicine from that duality, and now diversion to try and catch Kelra, who will escape, but purple buff is gone, dude.
The turtle is gone, 3 members are gone, and the purple, will follow. As a young man from the Philippines will say, Mr. Daniel, that's Grand Theft Purple.
Yes, Grand Theft Purple. Falcons now amassing a 4K gold lead. It's a 2K spike just off of one team fight at the Turtle Pit. 7.5 minutes in, ONIC PH, they are going to lose both side lanes tier 1, and so far Falcons structures have not been touched.
And we got to talk about this. This is the glaring problem now for ONIC Philippines. Their composition is not made for the late game. Lucas Valentina? Yeah, I think Falcons will have a better time as we get to scale up. My question is, have they already outscaled ONIC Philippines? Because, Ogwen, able to find them again, Tsunami Slam! Brusco able to get out with the help of his team, but still it's a free turret over to the Falcons.
You know what, Brusco got help from Flaptizi of all people. The curtain call actually canceled out the Tsunami Slam, but diversion play!
Oh, King Kong shredded down by Flaptizi! Orange buff taken, Kaltizi wants to go for the lockdown on it. Kirk will be able to get the taunt down, and a big bonk. Actually, just it's an average bonk.
Yeah, it's not as big as you want, but they did get the big back King Kong, and bot tier 2 will also go down. Flaptizi easily gets away. I think that was Grand Theft Orange. Kaltizi got the buff from ONIC PH. Another 2K injection for Team Falcons. 20 seconds for the Lord Spawn.
At this point, Team Falcons, they're playing Grand Theft HP bars. Really? When a CC can burst your mage like that, brother, Super Friends, every time he walks up, he has to recall again.
I think Falcons can basically pillage whatever they want. Just to answer your question earlier on, have Falcons outscale ONIC PH? I think for the next 6 to 8 minutes, yes. ONIC PH, if you want to get that late game, Kelra has to get full items, get enough stack, and then you pray for a big Brusco combo to end it all. Because if not, Falcons are always going to win these fights.
Oh, you can see it again. Tsunami Slam coming down onto Kirk, bring them back as well. Flap able to go for the Purify outside. There's Kelra and King Kong still waiting there. Kyle Teasy in a 50-50 against King Kong now. A big fight again. Implosion. Kyle Teasy wins out the retry. Now they dive in the back.
Yeah, in the back, like completely separated from the front. They needed Brusco and Kirk, but both of them absent. Falcons will get a triple for Super Marco.
Oh, the cancel as well up top. Kelra not able. Diversion play. 3-man gang on Kelra. It's a full dive. He's still able to escape. Good read with the Death Sonata too. But it's just 2 members with a respawning Kirk to deal with 3 waves coming down their way.
I wonder if we have a replay for the Lord fight because it was it was crystal clear for Falcons' game plan. They saw ONIC PH frontline run in and they immediately cut through to the back. And now this Lord is gonna slam the tower. Another fight.
Another tsunami slam, bringing him back all the way for the crossbow attack to be used up. Now translated over to Kirk. Very low, taunted up, locked down for Flap TZ to shred him down. Base turret down below, taken out.
And King Kong is not gonna do much. They steal a tsunami slam underneath the crystal.
Flap TZ goes in again, curtain call! That Super Fritz taken out! Kelra clearing the waves, 4v1 now.
Brusco will be back in 5 seconds. Kara, he can hold on, but how long?
Let's see, another dive on Kelra. That's the slam dunk onto him. 10 minutes, Team Falcons fly past the reign of ONIC Philippines.
Husky as well as Mirko taking care of you guys for game number 2.
Already in 20 seconds, so just in time for the buff picks Mirko. Obviously, Hanzo getting a bit of a head start, but after game 1, this is a way better adjustment from ONIC, right? Getting King Kong, a jungler, not the most ideal, but it is something. And of course, having more control in that mid lane.
It's so crucial for ONIC Philippines to play with their trio mid, right? Because yes, it's cool and all when you have Kelra on a Granger. Usually that's already like an insta win. But up against a team like Team Falcons, you might need more than just Kelra in the gold lane, especially considering Kelra's up against another monster. That's Super Marco. Right before the Kelra era, this was the guy who was just unbeatable in gold.
Yeah. It was kind of the era before Kelra, right? You're looking at 2 different generations. I would say that there is a lot of pressure mid-side, so Phil will have to flicker, get a bit of health back from that, the healing orb in the camp.
Walks up. Oh, Super Prince gonna be caught now. Shadow kill. Good flicker out from Super Prince escaping, but it did force out Brusco and Prince to use both their resources, both their spells.
Both junglers are, both mid laners are now very vulnerable to the enemy jungler, that's for sure. Kelra did end up freezing that bottom wave just to stabilize the state a little bit, considering that he did get jumped on by Ogun at level 1, who, understanding that Dustin Hylos is going to push that mid wave anyway, makes an early rotation bot just to give Super Marco a head start.
Very slow game this time around. No first bloods. Both of them learned from their mistakes. No crazy brawls at the start. But it really feels like with this draft, Falcons are going back to, all right, the meta. We're not going to try to go for these cheese picks every single game, right? We want to catch you off guard with it. So if Falcons get a game here, I think it'll be quite troublesome for ONIC Philippines because they're just going to have so much to think about in the next draft.
Yeah, and it's also in part to ONIC having some deterrent with that first 2 pick, right? Dustin herself is a deterrent for any, beefy immobile front lines. So I would say that this turtle take is going to get delayed because both junglers, they don't really have the best ways to take it.
Okay, Ogwen's going to be chunked quite a bit there. Gets picked up again by Lantern Flare. And this is the thing about why the Hanzo has not really been the best of picks in the Philippines, right? We actually got the interview with King Kong, and he said the teams are just so much slower. They don't rush into fights. So Turtle 1, you can see King Kong, he's not even in his shadow form. Just goes straight for it with the rest of the team. And Team Falcons are in no rush to match it. They know in the bottom lane what happened to you. And again, it's Kelra who gets a 2v1 win. And ONIC Philippines get the Turtle. Now it's a lockdown over to Caltizi, who went in with the quad shadow. Another shadow kill over onto the revitalized members.
Oh!
They're healing on that damage.
It's a set from Flap, but there's no damage. This was the time that they needed Few to be around. Ogun does find a kick.
Way the dragon, locking him down in the base. The pin down to Kirk. Still able to get away. Has the Infernal Pursuit.
Marco.
Gets the jump down to Super Marco. Rotates over. Saman Force and Brusco shall be taken down. Kirk is running away.
They need to get Kirk better airstrike. Kirk buys distance with the demonic ascent, the chase, but still traded. All things considered, not the worst for Team Falcons. I would like to say that it's probably an outplay from Kelra down bottom because they wanted to put pressure on him. But Few going down definitely sucks, and he might die again.
Oh no, another dive over from King Kong, but Few gets out of the range just barely. Now it's a fist crack from Mr. Manflap Teasy on that playmaker.
Yeah, give it a playmaker, and he will keep doing it. Shadow kill used by Kyle. He will get away, and Flap ensures that Falcons retreat.
They really are trying to outmuscle ONIC Philippines here. It looked so good for ONIC Philippines, but then you slow down a bit. You see the gold lead, you see that kill lead. It's all still Team Falcons.
Still Team Falcons, for sure. But I mean, at least the important members are getting a kill, right? Marco, Flap, Few, most importantly, those 2 big magic damage dealers. And it's so hard for Super Prince to catch Ogun, at least. I mean, he can lift it every now and then, but he has low cooldowns on his abilities, and Flap so far has been phenomenal, right? Game 1 CC, Game 2 Padang. These sets are very dangerous, especially when ONIC Philippines drop the Glorious Pathway. You want to run in a straight line, Flap will welcome you with open arms.
Wow. Now in the bottom lane they go. Another slow few seconds until we see the turtle. Super Friends gaining control. Again, Few gonna be engaged on this time with the Glorious Pathway. Surely he shall fall. Feathered Airstrike used up. Flap all alone gets brought by. Inferno Pursuit has the fist crack, but the Lantern Flare is perfect from Prince.
Bit of an error from Flap to just walk up. Maybe comms broke down a little bit, and it is going to escalate more. ONIC PH getting a free turtle and a free mid tier 1 5 minutes in. I would say Kyle would probably get the top tier 1, which is a bit of an exchange. But with Kirk arriving in time, they're not even going to lose that bottom though.
Uh-oh, so Marco forced to flicker out as well. Jumps back in with Zaman, forced back and forth over to King Kong, who has the Soul Snatch. But there's not enough damage to really threaten Marco. Still, an amazing trade, baiting out Flicker out from Marco.
This would probably prompt Flap to start sticking with the rest of the team, even though he wants to stay in lane, get some resource. But it seems like that timer has been sped up a little bit. Luckily on the Padang, you do have ways to set up without needing much levels, right? It's all about that crowd control with that flicker snap engage alongside Ogwen.
Now, ONIC Philippines are definitely the ones in control. They've been able to, again, create a chaotic environment for this Hanzo to thrive in.
That's the best case scenario. They've been forcing Few's hands every single time. They see him, they jump him, they force his flicker out whenever it's online. Few so far has not been able to comfortably sit in the fight and contribute.
Unable to get the G-Kundo away. The Dragon Ogwen now forced to flicker out. Few also another flicker. 3 flickers down now. ONIC Philippines, they're baiting this out like it's nothing.
Yeah, they do it. They are going to keep doing it over and over again. They see Flap and Kyle topside. They start running at Team Falcons. It's not about necessarily getting the kills. That is always going to be a bonus at this stage of the game. But you force out important resources is akin to winning that macro anyways. You take control of jungles, you take the camps, you reset the waves. And now, Falcons, you really got to start thinking of how you want to move Flap and Kyle around the map.
Glowing wand already for Mr. Super Prince. I think Kelra already has a Sky Piercer too. He's building towards a Sea Halberd actually here, ladies and gentlemen. A Sea Halberd for burst. I mean, obviously up against the Harrods, sure, but man, even these frontliners won't really be able to take that damage once he gets Sea Halberd plus Malefic Roar later on. Marco gets traded in the bottom lane. There's going to be a turret falling, I believe, up top as well. Turtle number 3.
Timing for the Sea Halberd is going to be just nice because Flap TZ is going for the Oracle, right? So that reduction will come in on time. So in the case, whatever advantage Falcons wants to get for themselves, it's a 1k goal lead, but you look at the bigger picture, it feels like it's more than just 1,000 because of how much control ONIC has.
Good rush, by the way, from Kirk. Radiant armor rush here as he gets a Dreadnought. Also the tough boot, so a lot of emphasis on just that magic damage. They know that this Hayabusa, if it doesn't get kills early, won't really be too big of a threat. And you can see, again, the slow take from ONIC Philippines as they have Brusco on it. Purple buff taken by Mr. King Kong earlier. Glorious Pathway, just a zone, a free turtle. Neutral objective for ONIC Philippines.
It's a vacuum, a constant vacuum. An Area 51, Falcons just cannot walk up. They have to full commit. They're thinking about it. Seems like there's no opening though.
No, it's just, they can't do it, right? They show up, you get the Quad Shadow on, but if it's on Kirk or Brusco, you're putting yourself in danger.
Your best bet is Kelra or Prince, but then if Kirk is standing nearby, there's no chance at all.
Yeah.
He just tracks you down.
His shoulder bashes you, man. Bodies you. And Ogwen now is really... at this point, they're waiting for Super Marco, right? That's the win condition. And in case you guys are wondering, what are Falcons waiting for? And if they wait, do they have a chance? Yes. Super Marco needs to get to those item power spikes. He's currently standing on a feather of heaven. So Holy Crystal should be the timing where you would see more fights for Falcons. But knowing ONIC Philippines are going for so much magic defense, I might say the Vine Glaive.
I was thinking the same. But looking at the components he has, he's probably thinking about the Holy Crystal Rush. And he even had to stop halfway, right? Stop by a gas station and buy that leather jerkin just because of the trade early on. So does slow him down set him back by a couple hundred gold. That means they are going to keep losing more and more control on the map, right? The ONIC PH, this measly 2k goal lead at 9 minutes doesn't seem much, but it essentially slowed down Falcons for at least 5 minutes.
5 C's. Oh, King Kong with the munch on the purple. you can't really say he stole the purple. He just ate it, man. He just consumed that purple. But up down,
Oh, no.
flicker again. It's
How-
just the name of the game at this point. Like for Team Falcons, it's all about distracting,
Yeah.
getting space, so that up top you can have Super Marco freely farm. Good move by Flap there, pinning King Kong down, making sure Few's safe.
It's like every flicker ONIC PH force is a 2-minute window where they can play a bit more aggressively, where they feel a lot more safe, knowing that Ogwin doesn't have a snap engage. Flap TZ doesn't want to do it right now. Gonna try though.
Okay. Flap TZ's actually gonna be the one caught. Sky Piercer, not even. It's Super Prince who picks up the kill.
Just say he doesn't want to do it, and he does it anyways.
Yeah.
The team wasn't even ready. You can see he gets the engage off, and Falcons were like, we can't, sorry man, you gotta go. And it's at a pretty bad timing. Lord just spawned, Ogwin might go down.
Yeah, it should be Ogwin taken down, this time by King Kong. Free Lord over to ONIC Philippines. Team Falcons have been playing an anti-fight kind of game for the longest time, but you're eventually going to have to fight. And ONIC Philippines, no, it's either for the Lord or you just lose it out. Few, Con of the Soul Snatch still has the wings by wings, gets out. But this gold lead is going to build up, as you saw Kaltizi earlier, unable to get a trade.
And this is going from bad to worse. Ogwin needs the flicker to function, and without that, only Flap has to wait, has means of engage. But I feel like if you are Flap TZ right now, you don't want to be the primary means of engage, right? Ogwin has to be the distraction. You know, you force some ONIC PH hands, and then Flap comes in as a second layer. But now, it's another 50 seconds on the clock, because Flap doesn't have his flicker, and they have to contend with a Lord crashing in topside.
So this Cho, right? Who do you kick at this point, right? I guess Kelra, but how do you kick him when there's so much peel? And even if, let's say, you do get the kick on Kelra, the rest of your team will have to deal with King Kong Prince and Brusco, who's diving in. They just have so much dive, so much peel. Everything is very well planned right now. Lord charges up top. It should be dealt with. This is not going to be the end just yet. There's still going to be holy defenses to keep Falcon's base intact. But hold up. Ogwin going to be stunned up as well. Super Prince goes to the Crimson Beacon. Now the Feather Airstrike into the back. Ogwin almost gets that kick, but Kelra gets the shot down. Super Marco going back and forth.
Even when fighting underneath the inhibitor, ONIC still went even. Kelra somehow escapes once more. Few. Once the kill, couldn't fight it. Kelra finally goes down to Marco. But Super Prince should be chased down. Flickers to safety.
So Marco on the chase with Few. Looking for that chase. Doesn't have the flicker, but Prince is sandwiched. Synchrofish, Super Marco, Zaman Force. That's a kill. Right as the Holy Crystal comes up, it's Team Falcons who ride that team fight.
So to answer your question, ideally they want to wait for Marco and Few to have more than enough damage. So if I kick Kirk or Brusco, we can burst them down in an instant. But hey, they have a 6-man, right? They had the inhibitor turret to help them out in that fight. Kyle should survive this, thankfully. So Falcons won because they had that inhibitor. Even then, it was a hard-fought battle, but it did give them breathing room. ONIC PH now shrunk to just a 1,300 goal advantage. The inhibitor didn't go down, so if anything, Falcons, they're breathing big sighs of relief.
Husky, I saw glimpses of the AP Bren playstyle at M5 yesterday against Bigatron, and now I'm feeling it. Team Falcons, this is the exact same way they were able to get that World Championship. They wait for Super Marco, right? Obviously, they want to win in the early game, but if they don't, they can always just trade on the map, look for farm, and get space for Marco to farm. Once he gets those item power spikes that we were talking about, Holy Crystal, Divine Glaive, now they are online. They can start looking for fights. They can start to be the ones proactive on the map because they know they've got a cannon, they got a nuke in that gold lane.
ONIC might have overestimated their battle power, right? The Brute running so deep in. Kao snuck into the backline in that fight, so essentially causing chaos to ONIC PH, the way ONIC PH wanted to do. But this second Lord, now Falcons, they're going to feel a lot better contesting this. Bottom wave is in their favor, top wave as well. Falcons can now walk up and gain presence.
Lord started. They're both just chilling right now, both going back and forth. Bottom lane is still neutral.
Watch out for the flicker engage. Both Flap and Ogwin have the battle spells online.
An intense Lord. Can't even call it a dance. They're not dancing with the Lord. They're just hovering over it. Both of them just watching over this Lord. Both very reluctant to be the ones to start it out, to commit.
if you are ONIC, you want to take control, but if you are Falcons, you have a lot more, slightly more freedom. That bot wave, I think, is a neutral wave. I'm not sure if the wave crashed in front of the turret just now, but either way, it's good news for Falcons, right? They can play this game forever. As long as Flap has vision, as long as they have the flicker back up, there is always an opportunity for Falcons to catch ONIC PH off guard. You don't want to glorious pathway into a Badang.
So the bottom lane now is slow pushed into Marco. Bit of poke over to Kirk. King Kong holding on to this Lord. For the airstrike landing on Kelra, taking him to a quarter of HP. Control now given back to Team Falcons, but they are not going to commit. They will wait for that wave down below to continue slow pushing. Win a crown for Super Prince. Flatteezy has the pin down. That's a fist crack from Flat Super Prince. Still able to escape.
Yeah, Ogun will be pulled back, but he has immortality, and he flickers to save the King Kong. Finds Phil and munches him down.
Super Marco brought it again. Has the Mind Force, goes back in. Wait, the Dragon Appeal. Kirk taken down. No, he's still able to survive for a bit longer. Kelra getting him down in the back as Shadow Kill comes in. Brusco going for the stun. Ogwin still able to escape. And after all that, it is a 1-for-1 trade.
Mid laner for XP laner. Phil is going to be back in 15 seconds, but I don't think Kao can contest this. He's going to try stuns up, and that is the end of the attempt. ONIC PH gets the Lord off of King Kong's assassination.
A prolonged skirmish, a messy one, and that flap cancels the recall on Kelra. An angle, a window of opportunity. King Kong cancels it out, now walks up over to Flapteezy. Kelra has to recall. This is another window of opportunity for them to deal with this Lord. Bottom lane, you can see the base turret barely surviving that minion crash.
So fortunate for Team Falcons, for ONIC PH, not losing that inhibitor and now having a chance to get their own. And Team Falcons, they were thinking about dealing with the Lord on the enemy side of the map, but with ONIC PH all alive, they will have to accept the fact that this top inhibitor will be conceded. And all things considered, Marco 5-0-2. He's decked out in items. Holy Crystal, Divine Glaive, Blood Wings is going to take off his boots pretty soon. And when that time comes, he is really going to hurt.
We're not in the timestamp of the Evolved Lord just yet, so this is still an Enhanced Lord, charging up top, getting a turret down already. King Kong walking forward, gets punched in the face by Flapteezy. Lord dealt with, now the waves coming in.
All ONIC PH is going to get off of this Lord, and it's a weakened inhibitor. So silver lining for Team Falcons, right? You don't really lose too much. And ONIC PH, they have a weakened inhibitor down bottom that is always under threat. But hey, that next Lord is going to be spawning bottom side, so long lane advantage is going to favor ONIC PH regardless.
And you can see this choice now for Super Marco. We've seen, for the most part, Harrods go for concentrated energy towards the late game, and then they sell their boots for Oracle. Here, it's the Blood Wings option for Super Marco. He wants to have that additional movement speed, obviously the shield, but the movement speed too when the shield gets cracked. Because there's just so much chase for the side of ONIC Philippines, he needs that additional mobility, and I think that's why he hasn't sold his boots just yet.
That, and also Phil is working towards the Winter Crown, because you don't want to get munched on by King Kong a second time. That was how ONIC PH got away with a Lord take just now.
And it's also a late game King Kong on Hanzo.
Yeah.
3-item power spike done, plus the Sea Halberd and the Melfic Roar. Even the frontliners won't be able to take his damage. And that's why Team Falcons, they were aware of the Hanzo on the other side. They didn't go for, super tanky picks. They know even if we go tanky picks late game, this man's a monster. And you can see the respect given over King Kong, diving in over to Flap. So able to escape. That's going to be a fist crack. King Kong low in the back. That should stop ONIC Philippines' attack.
That's the win for ONIC Philippines ready, even forcing out Super Marco's flicker 30 seconds before the Lord spawns. They will have their ultimates, but Super Marco now will be even more vulnerable. He did eventually sell his boots. He just got a Wishing Lantern. So that would be kind of the tipping point, right? Maximum damage. Both mid laners are incredibly worried about the enemy jungler. We saw how Kao almost took out Super Prince if he didn't have that Winter Crown earlier on. Kelra also getting a Winter Crown for himself. It's all about surviving assassinations.
These waves have been amazing, by the way, from ONIC Philippines. Again, they've just been so decisive in their actions. Team Falcons have actually been the ones to win out most of the wave control, side lane control. But ONIC Philippines have reacted so perfectly. When they saw the slow push down below, they decided, all right, it's time to commit, it's time to look for that fight, and then they got the Lord. Now it's similar. They saw that slow push, obviously for them building up top with the base turret. They saw that Team Falcons was trying to just slow it as much as they can with the freeze, so they broke it.
If you don't walk up, The walkout buddy Few.
Has to flicker out, but Kirk is going to be following in through. Now Super Marco pops into the bond for Super Prince, forces Crimson Beacon out of there as Kirk will just be treaded down. Has the immortality, will be able to go for another Inferno pursuit. Wave the Dragon over to King Kong, and now it's Super Marco caught!
Yeah, and King Kong takes down Super Marco in the process. Ogwen comes back with the immortality, but he is trapped. Forced to flicker, Winter Crown forced down by Few, but he's gonna die too.
2 for 0 for ONIC Philippines. Waves coming down slowly. How did Kirk get away from that? Baits out Super Marco, and now he's dead for 30 seconds. Flap buys the Winter Crown, has a bit more time to play with, but there's another wave in the mid lane too, coming down. Ogwen, G Kundo, Glorious Pathway into the back. Kaltizi with the shadow kill, brought away from the mid wave, but still has that retribution to go in. Ogwen gonna be caught as well. Goodbye, Kaltizi.
So close, yet so far. Flap is gonna fall. King Kong is just gonna batter the crystal, and we got a series on our hands, folks.
An equalizer from ONIC Philippines. Learned in the Mobile Legends Encyclopedia to fear against ONIC Philippines.
Given the Fanny, the Prince Farsa, the Kelra, you know, one of the strongest gold laner right now. And then they double up with just Gatot and Jawhead. Talk about pressure, making life hard for players like Ogwen to function, and even forcing the alpha pick that I think at the start of the show we even said it's not really the best pick anymore.
Oh. Really good jet damage, dude. This is something that's just so... Oh, hold up. Lethal Wanderer. Few force to flick around already. King Kong with the cables! You getting called it. Few's gonna have the best of games here up against King Kong's Fanny. Doesn't look like Kyle's gonna have the best of games either. Already invaded. No level 4 for him. An easy lethal for level 4 for King Kong.
I'm trying to figure out how Few is even gonna play the rest of the game. The early game looks bad already, now that you have King Kong flying around, but as the game progresses, it's not going to get any better. You're always going to be at a disadvantage. He even took Firmness because he knows that he's going to take a lot of punishment.
Okay, they want to go in again. Kaltizi going to be taken very low. See that reaction over from Few, almost taking him down. Still got to respect that damage early on against the Lo Yi. Ogwen going in. Oh, Spear of Misery too.
Look how he wishes he got that Beetle topside, because that would have been level 4.
Yeah.
That's the only window that King Kong was able to go that aggressive and not be punished. All things considered, Falcons, but they are running the Lo Yi, so level 4 is not the most important for this hero. As long as you can get that duality reaction, it's good enough. Marco against Kelra is going to be stagnant for quite a while. Turtle spawning topside.
You can see that Marco is winning more of the trades, though, in the lane itself, just due to the Moscow being able to blink out of the Synchro Fission. Ogwen, again, putting that damage over to Super Prince. You can see Super Prince doing the same thing. Kirk is the one holding it in. They want to wait for King Kong on the purple.
Few is going to feel very uncomfortable trying to cross that mid side. With Prince and Brusco around, Prince even level 4, I think this turtle's going to be hard.
Oh, Flaptini trying to go for the flicker play earlier, jumps in forward. Ogwen goes in, but King Kong's still on it. Now with the cables, one more time. Flaptizi able to dash in, but it's King Kong with a kill. And now for the airstrike with the AOG. Kaltizi, can he run? Pinned down just by the boys. Unstoppable force, and Brusco is the one to take it. Crazy juggle with Kirk tanking that turret.
Very well done. ONIC PH already starting off on a good note. Duality reaction. Prince does tick down, but still King Kong should be able to get away.
Yeah, might be able to get a kill before he walks out, but now great ejector too. Disengaged from Brusco.
Okay, so Falcons, they did save their orange buff. Meanwhile, Kero is going to start hard shoving that away with the Zaman Force down bottom. Get himself a recall. There is a world where I can see that lane swap coming out. We'll see what the plan is for ONIC PH. They did get the first turtle, got themselves a bit of a slight goal advantage.
Unstoppable force this time. They know there's no flicker on Few. Fed into the feather airstrike, but now Brusco shall be caught as well. But it's a 1-for-1 roam from mid. King Kong.
Still better for ONIC PH for sure.
Yeah.
Marco would get that mid wave, and this push control is essentially given over to ONIC PH. Now Falcons on damage control. Kyle needs his jungle, and of course Marco getting a double wave, a kick.
Oh, good kick in the Spear of Alpha. There's a Spear of Destruction as well. Oh man, 2 spears to the face.
And the punish on Super Fritz. Second death might be hard for Few, but Fritz also not having the best start so far. Both mid laners did go down twice. But King Kong is having a field day, right? 2-0-1, he's level 8, a level ahead of Kyle. And so Falcons have no way to punish him. At least not for now.
Yeah. 1,500 gold lead, 1,700 for ONIC Philippines now. Very slow build. It's not like the build that we would expect, you know, on a Fanny. You would maybe expect even more, but it's steady. It's really good, and they still have very good components to bring them into the mid game. Fanny, obviously, crazy power spike in the mid game, but the Farsa and Harith too.
Kirk feeling so strong. He went for Dalmai's first item. He's already solving problems before they even become a problem. He has a solution to the future 10 minutes ahead.
SOD landing there with the blink backwards. Unstoppable force dodge away from now the cables again. It's King Kong to get a kill on Marco.
ONIC PH just standing menacingly between two turrets. Super Marco had nowhere to go. He was trapped. Flicker was 5 seconds away from coming off cooldown. I'm not sure if that would have made a difference, but either way, ONIC PH now shutting down Super Marco. That was the only stable lane left for Falcons, and now it has collapsed.
They baited out the Spear of Misery, and then that's it. Instant kill for King Kong. 3-0 and 1.
This kind of does feel like game 2 where ONIC PH, for them, low commitment, right? Very low investment for high return in the heroes that they have. But for Falcons, gotta wait for Flicker on Ogwen. You know, Kyle needs to be there. The diversion doesn't guarantee anything for yourselves. And ONIC PH is just a way faster pace with the heroes that they have.
And they're denying so much gold off of Super Marco. That initial wave deny. Now you can see again, just with Brusco being hidden on the map, they know something's up. They know something's fishy. And Kelra is just using this to deny as many ways as possible. Super Friends with a good read over the diversion.
Wow.
Wow, good stuff from Super Friends. That awareness of this man.
From the player's POV, he saw nothing and he still got the read off. And that means that Ogwen, he's desperately trying to get intel for his team, but he's getting nothing. And even on top of that, both teams have ways to travel around the map, but caveat is Falcons needs a diversion. For ONIC PH, plenty of ways. Kirk, Super Friends, Brusco, they all have fast movements, right? Even King Kong with the cables.
Oh. Taunt locking them down for their airstrike. Boom goes Ogwen. King Kong walking forward. I don't think Flap wants to go for that Infernal Pursuit. And down below, you can see again Super Marco not given the space to farm up. Oh man, they're really shutting down every one of Falcons' win conditions.
Falcons now have a question that there is not a correct answer to, which is how do you contest bush control against ONIC?
Oh. That was really
the toss?
Uh-oh, ejector. Now it's going to be the Zaman Force over from Kelra. A free kill. He's going to go in even harder now. With the Zaman Force still intact. Flap Teasy going to go down as well. There's no way you would take that SOD, Marco. ONIC Philippines have control. Even with King Kong low, they have Kelra.
Kelra is so strong right now. He's working towards a Holy Crystal third item. But again, who is going to check these bushes, right? If Ogwen is getting blown up like that in 2 seconds, you sure as heck is not sending anyone else to do the job. And sadly, Ogwen is the only guy that can do it, and he can't get it done because of how far ONIC PH are ahead. This is turtle number 3, but ONIC, they're 5,000 go ahead.
It's just so tough right now for Team Falcons. And again, it's also Super Friends with the crazy burst. If they lack burst, they have this ejector from Brusco. Over to Flap Teasy, he goes. Inferno Pursuit gonna be cancel it out. That's Ogre, the Jikuno, and the way the Dragon, but it's not enough. As a feather airstrike zones them in the back. That damage. King Kong gets a kill, and Kelra is wiping them. Flap low, recalling, doesn't get read out, but now it's Few who gets shot down by Super Friends.
The SOD. It connects. Super Friends wants to get away. That's get picked off by Super Marco. It's a consolation prize for Falcons, right? Sure, Super Friends goes down, but guess what? ONIC just found themselves a Lord. And end of the day, it is going to be ONIC PH getting more and more of a lead. And once again, it goes back to who opens the bush, and it's so hard to catch the cores of ONIC PH. It's so hard to catch King Kong. Close to impossible to catch Kelra. He has to purify. And even Super Friends feeling so safe because as long as Ogwen isn't in his face, he does whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's way easier said than done to catch the Fanny on the Cho, especially this Fanny. We're talking about a Fanny like it's a random Fanny. This is King Kong on the Fanny. It's almost impossible to catch this man when he plays the Fanny. Just so quick on the cables. Watch as I say that he gets caught. No, it's all good. Okay.
He's almost 3,000 ahead, Mirko. This, you can even say this civil war goes way back, right? The new gen against the old one. M6 champs against M5, but now the gap is apparent. Bottom holy defense is gone. Brusco is concealed.
Whoa, actually was back there, utilizing the new mechanic on the shove of the holy defense to get out. Yeah, good move to just get more pressure on the rest of the team. Half HP on the base turret. There should be a tier 2 falling in the mid lane. Another tier 2 up top just from the minion waves. And then they'll just wait.
There you go, Holy Crystal for Kelra. Critical Mass, the holy grail of every Harry player, every mage player. They were trying to break down this bottom inhibitor, but it's a good defense for Falcons, so they lose nothing for now. Extend the game for a bit longer. The top holy defense actually blows up mid 2.
Wow.
Okay, that's definitely more damage than Falcons would have liked.
Yeah, they might actually be threatening this. Feather Airstrike was able to land the first kill. Now Flap TZ zoned away completely. One of the frontliners, a turret. Base turret with the first lord, take it in. Oh, Bruce gonna be caught away. The dragon and the flicker combo, but they're all just gonna collapse onto Flap TZ. It's Kelra who jumps in.
Flap just died mid-air. Brusco now ejector. King Kong to the back, slices and dices him, gets pinned to the crystal, but still gets away. Marco fends off the base SOD, completely goes wide. Divergent does come true though. Marco gets brought in. Super Prince somehow still gets away with the flicker.
Turns it around with the Feather Airstrike. Super Prince burning down. Lethal ignition. And now Kelra is wiping them out. Look at those dashes from the god in the gold lane.
Bring him the mop and bucket, and Kelra will mop the floor with Falcons. Defang them in the process. 9k goal advantage and an inhibitor lead down bot. I don't think they can end this just yet. Falcons are coming back, but they sure as heck can just stand here forever.
King Kong's gonna go and siege that turret slowly but surely. Another Feather Airstrike. Ogwen taken out again. Oh man, this is brutal from ONIC Philippines.
Surgical precision, just driving in chaos. Marco, he has the help of the Divergent. Kelra caught out. He's gonna try and 1v4 this, but this time it will not work. A punish by Super Marco.
No Zaman Force that time, Kelra. That is the window in which you can punish the Harith. 20 seconds on Kelra, but now it's gonna be King Kong jumping in over the Flap TZ. Oh my lord! That was the frontliner. That man has a Dreadnought armor and a Dominance Ice.
You just watch your Bastion get sliced and diced. Julianne by a lady with steel cables around her. That's not good news if you're Falcons.
Gee.
Can you imagine the despair, right? They just found hope. Hey, we killed Kelra, and then Flap just died. Like that solo kill by King Kong.
You kill 1K, there's another K. And then there's Kirk as well, right? Oh, man. And then there's a B.
And then there's the B. Then there's the SF.
It's an SF. Now they're just going to control this. I don't think Falcons have a way to actually contest. If they contest, concentrated energy too from... You know Kelra is comfortable when he doesn't have to go Divine Glaive. That is a concentrated energy in the place of a Divine Glaive.
It's a good time to also mention that the only person that has decent wave clear is Super Marco. Everyone else generally don't have the tools to walk up and deal with waves. That's why that bottom inhibitor still ended up going down despite the lore being taken care of, way earlier. And now the second lore will go over to ONIC PH, and this one, worst case scenario, probably taking down all inhibitors. Best case scenario, it ends the game.
Whoa. They're not gonna let, wow, even
King
just
Kong.
the trade of the turret. King Kong walking up, dealing so much damage, baiting out the no Spear of Misery already. King Kong might be able to go for the kill for the airstrike and the flicker forward, landing it onto Mr. Marco. Ejector from Brusco. Ogwen taken down, and Kelra gets that kill.
Had to sacrifice himself, a noble sacrifice to keep the rest of his teammates alive, his comrades. 4 against 5, Lord coming from bottom lane. Ogwen has 20 more seconds. There's plenty of time for ONIC PH to try and end this.
Tier 3 taken down mid. Base turret up top, falling as well. And that's without the Lord. Unstoppable force. No ejector. Just goes in for the flicker. Quick ejector from Brusco. Gets Cal TZ and AOG over to Super Marco to bait him. King Kong goes down, but so does the base turret of Team Falcons. It's our first playoffs 5-game match.
It would be historic enough, honestly, for this to go 5 games. I don't think most people would expect it. The whole distance. And this is the first time we see Suyo getting picked up in this series. Which in of itself is a weird thing to even say, because Suyo is such a popular pick. But that means that theoretically, people will be looking at tlid to be the one that's moving faster.
Yeah, definitely. King Kong will definitely have a tougher time in the early game of the Hayabusa. But still, Hayabusa is a pretty solid pick up against the Suyo. It's not going to be like a game one type of deal with the Lucas, right? Against the, what was it, Fredrin? Up top, you can see Kirk already getting bullied, but really, CC can't get bullied. It's when you send someone up top, you're just sending him to clear the way because both of you will be bullied by the CC.
That, and also you're helping him restore some health.
Oh, good damage over the view. Already used the flicker earlier. This is going to be first blood for King Kong. Kyle locked as well, has a bit of damage. Brusco healing back up.
Completely isolated from the team, and just the timing from King Kong was great. Mid-side though.
Blade surge from Prince Khan. Oh, he's waiting for the bouncing ball. There you go. He goes back in. One last shot should do it. One shuriken. Flicker out from Ogwen. Respect.
So there's one death and two flickers out from Team Falcons. And the best part is, King Kong doesn't even need to recall. Didn't lose much in these exchanges. Just some abilities, goes back to farming, can prep for the turtle. And now ONIC PH, Brusco sure it's not gonna hit level 4 anytime soon, but King Kong sure as heck have an advantage.
Oh, you can see that Super Friends has already put a little bit of damage over to tlid. Just needs one more snack for the yin-yang reaction. Turtle reset, but Brusco was in the pit. King Kong gets the orange buff. That's double buffs for King Kong. Again, a stun over to Brusco. Now Kirk walks in again. It's going to be the retry win for tlid, but the shadow kill for King Kong gets him down. 3v4 SOD.
He's going to come in, and Marco not able to find much, but the duality brings Kirk back, and that makes Marco's time worth it.
You got to try to out-muscle ONIC Philippines, and that's the muscle. Super Marco coming in late. King Kong going to be looking for the quad shadow here. Finds it on few, but there's a Spear of Misery. Yin-yang reaction. One last shot for Prince. Doesn't get it.
King Kong Shadow didn't lash onto Few. I think that would have been just enough to take Few down. He doesn't have the flicker yet. Either way, they did force the recall, and once more for King Kong, he loses nothing. Ogwen is charging out the Tyrant's Rage. Doesn't find anything. Little Wanderer for ONIC.
ONIC Philippines still keeping the lead. Despite losing out on that retry, losing out on the skirmish earlier, they were able to get some cheeky first phase or first few minute picks. And I think a lot of the gold has got to be up top. Kirk is bullying tlid on the high-lows. And you know what? We've been talking about this all throughout the series, Husky. And it's happening now. We're putting tlid on a non-playmaking hero.
It's the most non-playmaking one we've seen the entire series for him. Kelra gets a free trip back bottom too, so loses nothing to Super Marco. In fact, once more, Kirk gains priority top side. Not only he bullied flat, now he's getting extra gold from the turret too. And Kyle, I think he got the small beetle, but it's a small price to pay.
Yeah, look at the vengeance already from Kirk too. Curtain call over to Kyle, zoning him away. Good damage, good chunk of damage. King Kong is actually ahead in farm, in XP. Uh-oh, a gank up top. Flap doesn't have the glorious pathway, already used it up earlier, but luckily Kirk does not have the curtain call, so Flap is all good up top.
They just continue to bully Flap.
Okay.
You're not having fun at all. Boss side Kelra 1v2 against Marco, and Ogwen almost kills Marco.
Once the Harith gets a Starlium Scythe.
Diversion.
Hold up. Oh, no one's taking it. Oh, man. I thought King Kong was going to be the one taking it there just to get the quad shadow in, but it will be a free neutral objective. But yeah, when you have a Starlium Scythe, you know that counter that we were talking about? The Moscow could beat the Harith. It becomes a no-no.
We'll find Brusco in the bush, who easily gets away. And Flap is just having a rough time on this high-low. He's walking around the map. He's trying to make something happen. But I think right now, he might have to relegate himself being the secondary roamer for the team. He essentially has lost control of the lane. They went for a lane swap because Marco cannot stay bot side against Kelra anymore.
Slow. Very slow from ONIC Philippines, but steady. You can see the gold leaderboard here, Kelra up top. It's not that far off of a lead. I mean, Super Marco is still keeping up. 700 gold lead for Kelra.
Almost got King Kong with the jump too. Just the response of Brusco. And nothing gained from Falcons. They did force an AOG, But there's no objective to be contested.
Super Friends will be caught by the Blade Surge. Also a Queller, just more poke, but just look at the timing for the next neutral objective. It's so far off, and ONIC Philippines knows it. That's why they're walking up in lanes. That's why they are taking a few more risks here and there. It's because there's no way for Team Falcons to be able to really punish them.
And nothing to gain for Falcons. ONIC Philippines, for them, it's just a chance to reassess the state of the map. Kelra, clears wave, goes for a recon, now goes back up top. Both goal laners are constantly just trying to dodge each other. I say that, but it's Marco trying to dodge Kelra. Now Kelra gets another free lane, and Flap is just, he's just thinking to himself, man, I am not having fun at all.
And you can see ONIC Philippines already. Also Team Falcons like, oh, diversion, few, caught in a tough spot, will just be poked down by that yin-yang reaction. That didn't even land. That was just like, well, I think one splash.
Yeah, there's one splash of the dispersion. So Nocturno is definitely going to come back up. Flap has an off angle, but he himself isn't enough. Falcons needs to be ready, and I don't think they have damage yet. The fight is going to end pretty fast.
Yeah, look at the bottom lane. SOD thrown at the fight. We'll be able to connect on the Super Prince right now. It's asking me the Lantern Flare from Few. Crimson Beacon is Kaltizi was able to steal it out, but it's a Mind Force from Kelra with the Chrono Dashes. Just deal a bit too much as the AOG is used up top over to Kyle Teasy. But he's able to escape. Ogwen, not sure about him. Bouncing ball, gets out.
And the fights are ending way too quickly for Falcons to really utilize this Drusin and Hylos. They want to be able to extend these fights to make use of it. Ogwen finally blows his flicker. So the consolation prize is Super Marco getting a bottom tier 1. But right now this Drusin isn't able to be put to full use. So fights are again ending too quick.
It's been really good though. Oh, Flap TZ clears pathway, locking him down. Kirk able to escape. But yeah, for Falcons, it's been pretty good. They have been able to actually secure most of the neutral objectives at the start, despite not having control. It's just been Kyle on the Soul Sever Retry.
I would say that all things considered, I agree. Just 1,000 goal advantage for ONIC PH, right? Like, we praise them, they've been doing almost everything right. But Falcons, they are keeping up. Like Marco is effectively dodging Kelra. He's getting things done in the abandoned lane. And Flap, even though he's getting shafted, still able to keep keep his team held together. Both goal laners will trade their side tier once more. In this state, I think Falcons definitely have been able to stop down ONIC PH's timing. Right now, they get their own room to breathe.
And now they're back to even, by the way. Like, I mean, look at that gold lead. We saw earlier, gold leaderboard, it was ONIC Philippines, Kelra, hold up. Curtain call, that's a taunt. Ogwen is going to fall. I don't think there's any way around it. No, he gets the help of the Revitalize from Flap TZ, but hold up. 5-man diversion, no, 4-man. They're gonna come in all the way. What a taunt from Brusco. Super Marco down, Flap TZ as well. And Kirk is just swinging that yo-yo.
Super Fritz is a magician. Again, those off-tempo plays, they will find Kirk who pops the Vengeance.
Uh-oh, AOG, the Vengeance, and the pullback. Look at that reaction! Super Friends! Oh my lord, that damage!
And it was like, what, a 1 for 4? So worth it. You only lose Kirk, but you gain so much. Mid-tier 2 goes down. Lord just spawned King Kong, steals the orange away. Now that goal advantage extends by another 1,000 King Kongs. Low, little bit, mid-side, they do catch Prince, but he flickers.
Flickers out to safety, gets a in-air reaction, and Kelra's on. There's a Mind Force. They can't get a pick.
Divergent to top 2. They're gonna send Kelra back there as he continues his conquest to farm up that Holy Crystal. He is so close. You can smell that Holy Crystal. That inevitable power spike that's gonna put Kelra in an unstoppable position.
Lord, now going to be contested by ONIC Philippines. As we enter the 10th minute mark, can Team Falcons even fight is going to be the question now.
Ogwen needs like a god cash, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Conceal already blown. Lord should go to OP.
Definitely no Kaltizi to be seen right here. He's too far away. King Kong gets it. Flap TZ with a revitalized Shadow Kill. Just shredding him down with the help of Kirk. And now it's Ogwen with the bouncing ball flickering out. Kaltizi with the defensive Blade Surge. The SOD landed, but now diversion! It's an ambush from ONIC Philippines!
Yeah, they leave Marco to create pressure up top, but ONIC Philippines just says, hey, hey, I'm going to slay your entire team. And guess what? Kautizi held hostage bot side. If you want to recall, you better do the walk of shame. Lord coming down mid.
10 minutes and 40 seconds. This base turret will fall. 2 members down. Zaman Force coming down as well. Now Flopteezy shredded again. Super Marco disintegrated by King Kong.
And that's a 3-1 victory for ONIC Philippines. The Thunder Heralds once more